Good afternoon to you all. First, I would like to thank the presence of Professor Isabel Nunes. She's about to come then, who is representing the Faculty Dean. Then I would like to thank Professor João Carlos Lima, representing Professor Maria João Romão, who unfortunately couldn't come due to some last-minute appointments. Anyway, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Department of Chemistry for all the support given to us in the making of so many activities so far and to come. Then I must obviously thank our sponsor, Bioscope, here represented by Professor Capello. This wouldn't be possible without him and them. We have other conferences in mind, by the way. I would also like to thank the Portuguese Chemical Society, here represented by Professor Adelino, who supports us also. Then thank the Dr. Cristina Groba of the Special Projects Division, who helped with the logistics of the event, and the e.Learning Lab for filming the event. At last but not least, I would like to thank all of you for being here, and most especially and obviously Professor Atkins for accepting our invitation. It is most important that you come here to talk to our students. Before I leave you, I would just like to tell you the story behind this invitation to Professor Atkins. Last October, I was quietly doing stuff, and Professor João Lima came to challenge us to create the Applied Chemistry Students Club. That was something that we were considering for some time, but we always procrastinated until he mentioned it and remembered us, and we thought, hell, let's do it. The main motto for this club was no less than to change society's view on chemistry and on us chemists. Because today, society thinks that we do one of two things, either drugs or bombs. Although that is true, we can and usually do lots of other things. Behind almost every aspect of the modern world, there is a chemist's work behind, as you all know. From better crops to new polymers with 1,000 applications, chemists do it all. We can do almost everything. And that is what we need society to understand. So we can have more funding, as you could explain better. To explain this to you much better than I'll ever can, I would call Professor João Lima to talk to you, say a few words. Professor, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, André. I'm here in the representation of the Dean of the Chemistry, the President of the Chemistry Department that could not attend, but she is a big fan of Professor Atkins, and she is very sorry not to attend. And of course, I have to express the public, some public acknowledgements and public recognition, okay? First of all, of course, I would like to present my compliments to Professor Atkins and thank him personally and in the name of the Chemistry Department for the kind acceptance of this invitation by our chemistry students, represented by Mr. André Seco. Also, of course, take the opportunity to express the public recognition to Mr. André Seco and to Professor José Capello, a big challenger of students, that just say to Mr. André Seco, you will not be able to invite Professor Atkins. And he was able, and Professor Atkins is here, and thank you very much. It was, I think, a very nice example of our teacher, a professor must challenge students to do the things, the good things. Now I will talk a little bit about some views about chemistry, okay? So, chemistry is a kind of everywhere science. Okay, it's all around us, as Andreas says, from the clothes we wear, the pens we use, manufacturing of clothes and pesticides, just name it. Okay. This ubiquity of chemistry is at the same time the big strength of chemistry and its major weakness, because when something is all around us, it becomes invisible. And this is what happens to chemistry. Chemistry now is invisible to the society. People has no conscience at all how chemistry intervenes in their worlds. So, nevertheless, I think it's still amazing that a small country like Portugal, that has no big tradition on chemical industry like Great Britain or like Germany, still has so much chemical students and students coming to do some graduation in chemistry. It's really amazing. And one of the principal persons that is responsible for this is one of the most prominent communicators of chemical education, that is Professor Atkins. I think most of the calls or most of the choose of the students for the profession of chemistry is due to the works of somebody that devoted his life to chemical education and to communicate chemistry, that makes that even in a country like us, we still have chemists. And we have chemists reading the chemistry books of Professor Atkins. So thank you very much, Professor, once again. And I pass the word to Professor José Capello.
Okay, thank you, Seco. I see many known faces today. Thank you very much indeed for your presence here today. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Atkins. Well, I think that Professor Juan Carlos Lima say things as he used to say very politely. But my real words were to the students, you have no balls to invite Professor Atkins to come. And they indeed have, they indeed did it. They did it pretty well. And so all the credits should go to the Students' Union, and I please beg a clap for them now. And so I have the honor and the great responsibility to introduce Professor Atkins. And I am going to try to do my best by showing you how I was first when I was a student. This is my old card of the library of the University of Santiago de Compostela. At that time, this was the second year, we faced physical chemistry as a challenge. And as all students, I only realized how difficult is physical chemistry when I realized I needed to learn chemical kinetics, okay? And when I needed to study chemical kinetics, I decided to go, of course, to the library because I was not able to understand absolutely nothing of what my teacher at that time was explaining in the classes. And then, after trying 5 books, and I always recommend to my students, okay, you, in the library, you pick up 1 book, then you read 1 sheet, then you read 2 sheets. If you do not understand the book, then trash the book and try another one, okay? And after trying 5 books, I found this one. So this was the 87 edition, the first edition that is back till the 77. This edition is still on my own. I still have this book. And believe me, this book really was my key to pass physical chemistry the second year. And I think this book has been the key for many students during many generations, because the book has now 40 years. And it has 11 editions, if I am not wrong, what means 1 edition every 3 years, which is something remarkable because Professor Atkins has a large number of books, of chemistry books. And just to talk a little bit about the author, he got a PhD at the University of Leicester in 1964. He won the Royal Society of Chemistry Meldola Medal in 1997, and this is very nice because I was born in 1997, in that very year. And this again brings us the importance of writing and of link generations through really good books. He is patron of the Oxford University Scientific Society. He has honorary doctorates from the University of Utrecht, for the University of Leicester, for the Mendeleev University in Moscow, and for the Kazan State Technological University. He was a member of the Council of the Royal Institution and the Royal Society of Chemistry. He was the founding chairman of the Hayubak Committee on Chemistry Education and is a trustee of a variety of charities. I would like, from his large list of books, just point out these four because I think they are the most remarkable of his career. In organic chemistry, which is still recommended, for instance, by Professor Lodeiro in his classes. Chemical principles, the quest for insight. Definitely physical chemistry, okay, and physical chemistry for the life of science. If you go to the internet to look information about Professor Atkins, there is a list of quotes of Professor Peter, and I have selected these two because I indeed believe bring us an idea not of the researcher, not of the writer, but of the man. Taking care of yourself means finding a balance that works for you, then having the discipline to maintain that balance. I definitely would recommend that to my students and to myself. And the fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. I think there are really two powerful phrases. So this is what we are going to give today as a present to Professor Peter once he finishes this talk. This is a pen. Everybody that knows me knows that I really like pens. And this is from the Cross edition. But it is not a regular pen. It's a pen which is done with the aim to help childs that have been abused, to promote their reintegration in society. So the Cross tried to join the ability to write with the ability to help. And we have decided that this would be indeed a good present, and this one as well. So this is a sardine, Professor Peter, from Vista Alegre, one of the most famous and perhaps the best fine porcelain made in this country. And of course, you can see there the very typical telephone cabin from Great Britain. Just to finish and to give you all the honors, obrigado. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Atkins.